Spoke with him this morning as we did a podcast, Scuttlebucks, once again. And always fun to do a Scuttlebucks podcast, Matthew, right after a playoff win. Well, listen, I can't gloat too much. This was a obvious one-sided affair. We knew going in that it would in fact be.
You could have done that podcast after the
first quarter.
I was going to say second drive for the Eagles.
You know what? Oh, by the way, Marcus, you're welcome. Yeah, we got to win, right? We got to win there with the 6-point teaser. That was fairly easy. The Bucs down to 2 and the Chiefs down to 6.5, whatever that was. Those seemed like the two most obvious and easy ones to go with. I'm in the midst of a 5-team parlay that cashes tonight if the Rams win on the money line. So just I did 5 money lines, and I went 5 for 5. The biggest one, well, I will go 5 for 5 if the Rams win tonight. Truthfully, there's a part of me that wants to lose that parlay because I'd rather play Arizona than Los Angeles. When you watch these playoff games, a lot of things stand out, and I think I should first mention you gotta. I don't want to say trust your gut because that's unscientific, but when you watch a guy, when you watch a guy play, and you realize that optimally, if they're able to stay within what they do, then he can be effective. But when things get taken away, is there a second gear? Is there an option? Is there something else that he can do to help his team win? And if the answer is no to that, then you can't look at the body of work that says he was efficient enough or good enough that got us to the playoffs, but rather you have to look at what is our overall goal and can he still be the guy when we get there? And I think, meaning when you've arrived at a roster that can win, like really win, right? That's the mistake Jacksonville made a few years back, right? They never addressed the quarterback situation, and they put together this incredible defense, and they had it so that they were in a position to go to the Super Bowl, and by all rights probably should have, but they could not trust their quarterback in the second half of the football game, couldn't throw the football, and they got beat. And I was reminded watching the Eagles that Jalen Hurts is a fine backup, that Jalen Hurts is a guy that if something went down with your starter, and you needed him to come in and you could revert to a certain game plan that he could operate, maybe in a pickle, you could win a game, maybe even 2. You could survive a little bit there. But when people take away the Eagles' ability to run the ball 70% of the time, and they make him throw from the pocket and read a defense and go through, you kind of really saw what you saw in college. You really saw here with him as a pro. That game, like you said, without being a jerk about it, we have fun. We play it up on the show. Matthew's a loyal and diehard Eagles fan. But you knew going in, and when you tried the read option there early on 3rd and 1, and he gets shut down and sets up 4th and 5, next time they try to run the ball, they get the ball back after giving up that score, and they can't run it again. Well, we're done. This game is pretty well over, barring some flukishness, barring something strange, turnovers or special team scores or things like that. And I always think with any team, with any player, if you're watching your team and you're watching your quarterback and you're going, well, this guy can't be the reason we win. Well, that at that position only, that's a really, really big deal. Like you can have a guy that has some weaknesses as a guard, as a defensive end, even as a corner. You can hide him and use his strengths and move him around. You really can't as a quarterback. You can't have that unless the one thing that he possesses is preternaturally great. There's nothing preternaturally great at quarterback for the Eagles.
Yeah, he's not the game changer like Vic was.
Well, right. Like that guy did something preternaturally great. And even then, they got in trouble if he had to win it with his arm. That's why when you see like what Josh Allen did or what Patrick Mahomes did. Patrick Mahomes is, we already know, bona fide. Everything about that guy is bona fide. Josh Allen had a performance for the ages on Saturday night, like one of the great all-time performances in the history of playoff football. You beat the Patriots 47-17 and do so in a way that features record-setting movement. I mean, think about this. I've never seen, and either has the NFL, Buffalo scored touchdowns on its first 7 possessions before kneeling to end the game in its 8th series. That's the first game in NFL history in which one team never attempted a field goal, punted, or turned the ball over. Never. That is as thorough an ass beating as anybody has ever received in a playoff game. And it's odd because it came against Bill Belichick. It's crazy. I would again mention to you that I think, honestly, the Bucs, circling back, are not going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think so. And I think they're just too beat up. But what you saw between Buffalo and Kansas City sets up for an incredible game. I do think that there's intrigue still that remains in the NFC, although Green Bay is who you'd lean to heavily. I do think that the idea of the Bengals and the Titans sitting down to watch that game, how excited are you going to be? We're getting a little something for our money here. This is going to be a lot of fun this weekend. I'll go through all those, and we'll have fun with that. But first, let's circle back to this. Let's circle back to what the Noles did over the weekend in taking down Syracuse. And that's where I continue to get excited. Last week, we talked about if this team could go on the road and avenge the loss, the collapse that they had against Syracuse here at the TLC, then all of a sudden, you wouldn't be a believer that they're going to win the ACC or anything like that, but you'd say to yourself, all right, this is going to be retired for now. That's retired for now. It wasn't long ago, a couple weeks back, the red panic button was sitting here right before me, waiting for me to mash. But we gave them the benefit of the doubt, didn't we? We said, well, hold on. Leonard's staff, Leonard himself, they have navigated choppy waters. They have figured out adjustments. They have found a way to carry the day. With that win, by the way, we return home tomorrow night, huge game against Duke. Duke will be a heavy favorite when that line comes out. Tip time, 9 p.m. at the TLC. Thankfully, a game televised on ESPN. But the weekend's results means that Florida State sits in 4th place in the ACC. Say that aloud, everybody. Winners of 3 straight in the conference. 4-2 in the ACC, 1 game back of first place. Miami holding down the fort atop the ACC. Of course, Miami's lone loss is to Florida State. So if that thing, we're going to be playing them again, but what a weekend. With Notre Dame, Louisville, Virginia, all losing. Here we sit in 4th place, tied with Notre Dame, 1 game behind Miami, Duke, and North Carolina in the loss column. Hard to imagine. Good on you. And we talk about adjustments all the time and coaches making those adjustments. You have to do it without the services of your senior center, second leading scorer on the team, and Malik Osborne. Set out, walking boot. We saw that, sprained ankle. And so you don't have your best front court player. We keep the game close early on, make some adjustments, figure out kind of what's going on here. And I really go back where like inserting Harrison Prado as a reserve walk-on center into this game and having him set up shop at the ACC logo on offense, it changed the entirety of the game. Think about that move. So you're Leonard Hamilton, and you're looking out there, and you know what? You've got Naheem McLeod, Quincy Ballard. They're not proving to be effective because they're not good enough defensively. They can't move laterally. You bring in a reserve walk-on sitter. 5 minutes left in the first half. He sets up shop. And from that point on, the game is changed. Received entry passes, which forced Syracuse to kind of collapse around him after he had gotten to the rim a couple times, but he set up alternative options for other players. He was a better defender on the other end as well, and all of a sudden the run happens. We carry it into the second half with the momentum. Good on you, boys. Good on you. That's the second time that you have earned a choo-choo! No chance on the upset tomorrow night? I'll never say no chance at the TLC. I'll never give them no shot to win a game here difficult to say the least. Matchup problem with Duke. But I won't say no chance. I won't. I'll give them a shot. Good for Florida State. Good for making the season compelling. It wasn't long ago. I was looking at my inbox and continually checking, all the social media outlets, people responding back to, we're the conductor, baby. We're looking at this thing, and admittedly, we're all kind of like, yeah, man, I don't know. But the holding out of hope, the belief that this staff would make some adjustments and get this thing turned around, it's you know what? It's come to fruition. Now you put yourself in a position to get excited and maybe carry the day. All right, so any particular order, I guess we could start Bucks, Eagles. Tom Brady throws for 265, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Jalen Hurts, interceptions. They turned the ball over 3 times. You have a fumble as well. That was critical on the punt. Listen, you're without Leonard Fournette, without Chris Godwin, without Antonio Brown, without Ronald Jones. All of that's going to prove to be a problem, I think, as the playoffs move on. I will say this, between Keyshawn Vaughn and Giovanni Bernard, they were more than serviceable. Mike Evans was really good, over 100 yards receiving in this game. Brady spread it out to 9 different receivers. It was kind of pitch and catch in the middle of the field, which is what we first guessed would happen because the Eagles want to keep everybody in check and in front. The defense held Philadelphia scoreless for 3 quarters. That ain't going to get it done, obviously, if you're Philadelphia, and you go from there. It was a reminder with the entirety of the secondary starting for the first time together this year how good the Bucs could be. It's not just the ability to stop opposing receivers, but they come up and stop the run. I'll segue over to Dallas, San Francisco. We're not going in any particular order here, just initial thoughts. What are you doing on a quarterback draw? What are you doing? You can complain about the spike at the end, and I get it. I'd be frustrated too because I would have wanted a shot. That's on you, man. 14 seconds. You're going to take off with no timeouts. You are running the risk that happens, that you don't get to the line in time to spike it. By the way, the ref has to touch the ball, and Dak knows that. He knows the ref has to touch the ball to set it. You can't just hand it to your center. What are you doing?
Watch any other last-second play where they have to spike it. They always hand the ball to the
official.
Every time. You never hand the ball to your center and just like, well, this is fine. I'm going to snap it here.
Right here. This is what I like. This is perfect. Yeah. I started laughing. I was sitting there going, what are you doing, man? This is crazy. What would you do that for? That's nuts. And then the post game to tell everybody that you're fine with refs throwing bottles at refs. Don't be a dumbass. I mean, they'll get fined for that. I understand your frustration, but you can't condone fans throwing bottles at officials. You screwed this up. Frankly, this is a blowout. This game's a blowout. A couple of things happen. Bosa goes down, plus they lose their linebacker, plus Jimmy G does what Jimmy G does, which is, good God, man. That's got to be so frustrating. If you're a San Fran fan, you're set up. You're physical. You run the ball well. You just don't have the guy. You don't have the D-line. You don't have the quarterback to trust in. Cowboys started this game the way they always start games against teams that aren't named Washington, Philadelphia, or New York. So they trail in this game 10-0 right off the bat. Then they're down 16-7. Then they're down 23-7. If Garoppolo had been slightly more accurate, I think this is a runaway. Fred Warner was out. The situation with Bosa and Warner will be huge. Those are their top 2 defenders. If they come back and can play, that could get interesting against Green Bay. If they can't, it won't be leaguered. San Francisco will go up to Green Bay and get beat soundly. What I realized, too, if you're Dallas, and there are a lot of Dallas fans, they're the second most penalized team in the league this year during the regular season. Second most penalized team in the league. After every game that they lost, they complained about officiating. This one was no different. They were flagged 14 times for 89 yards. At some point, man, it ain't them. I got problems with officials all the time, and we talk about the league leaning towards calling something and supposed to not letting guys play. Yeah, a philosophical mindset that really is troubling. I agree. But at some point, when you're the second most penalized team in the league, and then you commit a bunch of penalties in these moments, you got to look back at your head coach and say they're not prepared. They never look prepared. Bills Patriots, back to that game. Every facet of the game dominated by Buffalo, 47-17. That's an incredible matchup with the Chiefs. It's a can't-miss game. It's the game that I am most looking forward to, and that even includes ours, meaning Tampa's. That game, let's go. Can we play that tomorrow? That is Buffalo, Kansas City, Sunday, 6:30 Eastern Time. I think, given work scenarios, Matthew, I would have preferred Saturday at 8 p.m. A little Saturday at 8 p.m. with nowhere to be on a Sunday would have been ideal. Instead, the Saturday game will be San Francisco at Green Bay, which I like. I will say Saturday, 4:30, Cincinnati at Tennessee. And obviously the Bucs will be hosting Sunday, 3 o'clock against either the Cardinals or the Rams. We find out tonight. Know this. I remember when we were looking at the Bills when they faced off against Kansas City, and they look that first time there was that look of that far away saucer-eyed sort of approach. You realize you gotta figure these things out, right? But they look as calm and prepared and confident as any team does. And of course, it's not like the Chiefs didn't just absolutely wear out the Steelers, which we first guessed everybody did. That was really kind of a shame the Steelers made the playoffs, quite frankly, unless you're a Steelers fan, obviously. They were not equipped to compete in that game. Their offense is dreadful. If you're picking the right time. You probably should have picked last year, frankly, as the right time, because that's good. Speaking of which, where are the numbers? I printed those numbers out. Big Ben all-time numbers for his career with the Steelers, and that is, I think he's first in every major category. The game's different now, and it makes sense that he would be first in every category. Yeah. 18-season career with the Steelers, retires the franchise leader in wins, 165 passing yards, 64,303. He is first in touchdowns, 420 attempts, 8,487 completions, 5,469 completion percentage, 64.5%. He led the team to 3 Super Bowl appearances, 2 titles, 06 and 09. 06, he became the youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl, 6-time Pro Bowler, won Offensive Rookie of the Year in 04, led the NFL in passing yards both in 14 and 18. He'll go straight to the Hall of Fame.
We were talking a little bit before we went on the air about the Eagles and their quarterback situation. What do you do if you're the Steelers? Because, I mean, you don't trust Mason Rudolph.
At all. Not even a little bit. Not as far as you can throw him. He's terrible. A lot of teams are going to be confronting this reality. I mean, I do think there's a possibility that my Bucs here in the not-too-distant future, obviously, having to face that reality as well. And that is, I mean, listen, when you don't have that guy and you just don't want to do the thing, all teams do this now. And I get it. You invest in a guy like the Dolphins invested in Tua. They believed in Tua as opposed to Herbert. And now side by side, those two will be compared, well, for as long as Tua's in the league, which is probably not that long. But if you think about that, you're a Dolphins fan, you're watching that, you could have had Justin Herbert. And so you're angry about that to begin with, like really angry about that, because one's generational and the other one probably out of the league pretty shortly. And then you have to confront the reality of we have to pull the trigger at some point. I don't know what I generally speaking will give a guy, I got to see signs. I got to see something that says there's a step forward being taken, especially if they don't possess something unique. Like Josh Allen, early on, made mistakes. You had some issues with him that you thought, I'm not sure about accuracy. There were question marks, right? But otherworldly athleticism and a cannon for an arm. So guys like that get longer leashes. You're going to say a guy like that, well, I don't know, maybe this works where he refines some things, changes release, figures something out, but he's got skills that you can't teach. So he's uniquely gifted. We'll give him more time. And it's a good thing they did. So you get that, right? Other guys, if you don't possess that, I better see something in terms of an understanding of the game. Pre-snap better be something that's truly unique. Like Joe Burrow, he's not the same physical freak that Herbert is, or that Josh Allen is, or that Mahomes is. But Joe Burrow, I mean, it's on the table all the time. And it is absurd, that man's confidence. I mean, it's unsettling how confident that man is at all times. It translates. And you're like, well, that's different. That's different. And it's real. That's not false bravado. That's real. And all those guys around him are like, we love you, buddy. We love you. Whereas some of these other guys, like we're talking about right now, the reality hitting Philadelphia, the reality, I think, having to hit the Dolphins at some point, a few other guys that you look at and you go, you could put better pieces. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. How quickly do you pull the trigger?
It wouldn't surprise me if after this game, or after Hurts' performance in this game, if you don't hear that the Eagles are back in on Watson.
Yeah, well, again, everybody's waiting to find out if he's going to be charged with a crime or not. If he's not going to be charged with a crime, people don't care necessarily about the PR hit or perception of taking on a guy who may have been guilty of some pretty abhorrent behavior, but not a crime. So you know what? All right, hey, it's professional football. We let the law take care of the stuff off the field. If they're not charging with anything, we're moving on. And it gets easier to move on and say, we'll take you on if you're really good. And let's not forget, he was a top 5 quarterback before all this happened. And the further removed we are from those incidents, however you want to call them, I mean, we can't call them crimes because they haven't been charged yet. If the further removed you are from that, the more people are apt to just kind of move on themselves in their heads, just mentally. Now there'll be a reckoning because at some point this will have to be resolved either financially, civilly, something is going to happen there. But I think if you're the Dolphins, you're in on Deshaun. If you're the Eagles, you're in on Deshaun. If you're the Steelers, you're in on Deshaun. If you're anybody that's about to need a quarterback who thinks that they have a roster to compete, it's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This month has already been a long, cold year, but nothing breaks up the cold like a cozy, warm fireplace in your home from Hearth & Patio. You may not know this, but many of today's modern, environmentally friendly indoor fireplace designs offer amazing energy efficiency. And when you get a new fireplace installed by Hearth & Patio, they will also service the equipment to make sure it lasts for years to come. Something else you may not know, Hearth & Patio can also repair your existing fireplace. I'm going to read you a recent review from a real customer. Donna says, our gas fireplace stopped working at a time when we experienced our coldest weather. I called other companies, but the earliest they could send someone out was 10 days. Then I called Hearth & Patio, and they had a technician at my house the next day. He not only was friendly, he fixed the problem and never tried to sell me something I did not need. It was so refreshing. I would not hesitate to call Hearth & Patio again. So the moral of the story is, when you need a fireplace repaired, replaced, or installed, just call Hearth & Patio at 727-4282 or find them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
Our friends at ISF want to wish you a very happy new year. Listen, you want to do amazing things. You have big visions and goals for the future, and you work hard to move your agency forward while navigating the unique challenges inherent in government operations. ISF understands. They're a national management and IT consulting firm serving clients across the country. As we turn the page to another year, ISF reminds you to think big and stay focused on your goals for the future. ISF, your vision, our expertise, solving the future. Visit ISF.com to learn more.
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of thewarchant.com.
You don't run the defense. Dan Quinn does. Your job would be to have your team certainly prepared. Well, I told you they were second in the league in penalties this year, and they committed 14 more of them in this game. Another aspect of your job would be clock management. My man, pretty significant mistakes made by this team. And you have wasted timeouts. You have moments where they just don't play like a team that's well coached. And, they are a team with immense talent. I think I wouldn't wait around.
Yeah, I think Jerry's gotten to the point where...
Oh, you saw Jerry over the weekend?
Yes,
Does everybody know what I'm talking about here, guys? I try not to be macabre, but I'm telling you, for the last 2 weeks, this train, the darkness is creeping upon you. Every time they flash to him I keep saying, don't do it. Stop cutting to him. It's like when they used to cut to Wispy. You could see the death written on his face. You're like, oh, there's a life lived and about to be done. The lights are out behind the eyes. Same with at the end of his life. Remember when they wheeled Ted Williams out there at the All-Star game? Come on, man. What are we doing? Steinbrenner, too. Oh, that was awful. All around the stadium while he shook with fright. Began to cry inexplicably. I'm watching every time they show Jerry Jones. I'm like, golly, this may be the last run Jerry ever gets to see. So to say that time is of the essence is an understatement. You can't waste it on McCarthy. You had, if you think back, there's a stretch in the game with the punt sequence with about 14 minutes to go in the fourth quarter where they have to waste a timeout. Could have used that timeout. I mean, all of these little things add up. What I would think is to you being fired. I would believe that be the case, you being fired. We'll see. Just when you go through the stuff of a weekend and you're trying to assess where teams are at and who's going to be next and what kind of moves can be made, Dallas has got to start with firing him. And then to go from there, I mean, nobody would want to trust him to lead their team. I do think the other things that you would look for is, you would start with the defending champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, not just because they're my team. And you'd say, all right, are they going to survive no Godwin? And I think the answer probably, as it pertains to winning a Super Bowl, is no. I don't think they can survive it. Now, if Wirfs doesn't play, they won't survive this weekend. If Wirfs plays at tackle, they've got a chance to, because they're going to get Fournette back and they're going to get Ronald Jones back. Obviously, they got healthier on defense with Shaq Barrett coming back, Levante David coming back. That showed. First time, I mentioned it last segment, secondary was completely healthy for the first time really all season long outside of opening game. So that looked to be vastly improved. Of course, it helps that you're facing a quarterback that is not all that good. But that said, I do think they could win that game, but they're not going to go on the road and beat Green Bay. Now, we could get helped out if San Francisco decides to go up and pull off an upset. A lot of ifs. We'll have to watch tonight's game between Arizona and the Rams to figure out exactly who's the best matchup. I would say on the surface, the best matchup for Tampa Bay would be Arizona. Now, again, a lot to decide there. What I look at in those matchups is where's Brady's game at? Well, if you're gonna give up the middle of the field and allow checkdowns and allow that kind of efficiency, he won't make the mistake of getting greedy. Never has. It's remarkable the restraint that guy has. The throws are still there to be made. We've seen that at the end of the year, the throw on the road in New York against the Jets. That's a hell of a throw when you have to have it. That entire drive was amazing. You saw a couple of throws in this game, small windows. He can still make those. But if teams don't make it, he refuses to force it. That's smart. I think the Rams could make him force it, and that would be an interesting scenario.
The Eagles game this weekend, I was ready to throw my remote at the TV because there were, in the first 3 or 4 drives, there were 7-8 plays to Bernard where Brady doesn't have the ball for a second.
No, he just
it's snap, dunk. I'm like, guys,
yeah,
what are we doing?
Well, it's weird because, see, that's where when you have like so Evans beats people down the field still. He's still a big guy that you can throw it up to. Gronk kills people, and you remove players because they send him down the seam, and now everybody clears out, and Brady's content with, okay, well, if you're going to clear out, here you go. Now you're going to come up and stop that? Well, we're going to get our one-on-one shots at some point. It's maddening. And we all hated this like I did. I hated watching it with New England for all those years. You're like, he doesn't even have anybody to throw to. Now he does. But he really didn't outside of the year with Randy Moss, and he put up record numbers. But it's like, oh, you are maddeningly consistent. You will take 4 yards over and over and over. And it's not because you're a check down Charlie the way some guys are. It's because you just know that team's going to be willing to give that up. And it doesn't bother you. It doesn't bother you to have to be efficient and have to go on 12-play drives. It doesn't bother you 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, first down, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, first down. Bothered you. I know it had to have you. Here it comes again. 2nd and 5, 3rd and 1, first down. 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, first down. Over and over and over. You're like, golly. Well, it is admirable. It is admirable. It's not dynamic. It's not Josh Allen. It's not Patrick Mahomes. Man, I want to go back and rewatch the Steelers. Inept. I'm not worried about that. I really want to go back and watch. And I watched the Buffalo game, but whew, could anybody look better than Buffalo looked this weekend? That was incredible. The best game of the weekend, the only real good game of the weekend outside of this weird ending that we got with San Francisco and Dallas, was the Cincinnati game. The Cincinnati-Las Vegas game was a lot of fun. That was a good game. Refs tried to blow that game, and they got fired for it. Well, not fired, but they will not ref again in the postseason. The NFL has come out to note. It's got to be a gut-wrenching, oh, my God, did I really just do that feeling. Now, they had a ton of mistakes, but blowing the whistle along the sidelines, I bring this up all the time. Officials frequently either throw flags or blow a whistle for what they think is about to happen. And I get that the game is fast, and so there's this anticipatory moment for a lot of officials. But you watch guys, they think a quarterback's about to be roughed. They think a player is going to get hit late out of bounds, but they're actually struck while both feet are still in bounds, no matter that they were efforting to get out of bounds. But that flag gets thrown all the time. It's a reaction to the bench. It's a reaction to what they thought was about to happen. And you see it constantly. And I don't know how you get officials out of that mode. I don't know how you tell. I've never been an official. I will welcome the fact that probably is extremely difficult. I can't imagine that there's anything about officiating that's easy, given how good of athletes they're having to not just watch over, but the quickness with which plays begin and end. And there's so much extreme violence that I don't know. I mean, all I ask is that the pervasive thought be that we're not throwing a flag unless it is obvious, as opposed to we want to cut certain things off at the pass. We would rather you err on the side of it not really being a penalty, but calling it, as opposed to ignoring a blatant infraction. I'm the opposite. I believe you let the best athletes in the world, the biggest, strongest gladiatorial guys that there are playing professional sports, have at it. And unless it's just abundantly clear that we have a hands to the face, abundantly clear that a guy's hit late, abundantly clear that there's a hold, we're just playing football out here, man. Let's go. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV.
Local news now.
A shooting outside the North Monroe Walmart in Tallahassee Friday night left one person sent to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The incident involved two men in a city taxi. One person is in custody and the incident is an active investigation. If you have any information regarding this case, contact LCSO Violent Crimes Unit at 850-606-3300 or, to remain anonymous, contact the Big Bend Crime Stoppers at 850-574-TIPS. An investigation is underway in Quincy following a shooting incident. The incident occurred around 4:15 p.m. Friday on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard between Adams and Stewart Streets. An unknown suspect allegedly fired a weapon, striking a vehicle located in a parking lot near the Gadsden County Schools District headquarters. No one was injured in the incident. Investigators are using nearby surveillance video in the case. Anyone with information to call QPD at 850-627-7111. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Mac & More Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macandmoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 56. Northwest winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet again tonight. Lows dip down to about 32. Clear skies and quiet tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 58. Mid-60s Wednesday and Thursday with a chance for scattered rain showers Thursday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 52.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be. A boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
A woman only identified as Mrs. Wong posted on Chinese social media she had gotten locked down after a first blind date. She discovered that their date's community had gone into swift lockdown after visiting his house for a meal.
This absolutely has to become a romantic comedy. Lockdown Love. He was looking for Mrs. Right, but he found Mrs. Wong.
Lockdown. Starring Matthew McConaughey. All right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomas.
Documented every fourth down decision Mike Norvell made for FSU football in 2021. Kind of fun. I talked to him this morning about the article, and I think it was a nice decision or a smart decision to put a comment section in under, not a comment section, but room for where you could comment, where the author could comment about the decision. And the reason being is that we talk about the philosophy, Mike Norvell's philosophy. A lot of people obviously play the results as opposed to the process, and they get upset if it doesn't work out. Or you'll hear people say, and it's actually quoted by Tom in the article, you load the nerds who influence critical decisions in football through metrics. You need to have, there's nuance to the discussion. Whether the bot win probability change is plus 6% or minus 1% or whatever it might be, there's always nuance to this. Like the in-game situation matters, the matchup matters, the results that precede the decision matters. If you're attempting to run the football and you're over on 3rd and 2 or longer, 4th and 1 or longer over your last 2 games because you simply don't match up physically against an opposing defensive line, the bot might tell you that the right decision based on down, distance, score, time of game is to go for it. You, however, have eyes and have seen that you can't block them. So, bot be damned. We're going to go ahead and punt this away because I don't think I can be physical enough to get the yard. So everybody has to concede that there are many factors, not just the bot percentages of win probability, yay or nay. Okay, blindly choose this because it's in the positive. You know what? And so that's allowed for in it. It's a good read. Warchant.com. It's going to take you a while to get through. It's long. It's, as I said, an exhaustive search. I got to give him, or vetting, got to give him credit because I think this was the topic du jour for a good part of the season, especially the first half of the season when things were going so wrong for Florida State. And those decisions oftentimes came down to, do you take the chance with the group that you have, knowing what you don't have, more importantly, or, again, the argument being that you're playing to win the game and you understand that I'm willing to take the risks because I don't think we can win if we're going to rely on getting a stop here and possessing the football one fewer time. We're going to need to cash in here at the 50 as opposed to kicking away, getting a stop, getting the ball back in minus field position, and getting back down the field, given the limitations of our offense. Anyhow, it's a fun deal. Warchant.com, go read it. I can't, admittedly, but there are plenty of people who would disagree with me. I give credit to Michael Langston and Austin Cox in looking at, we got 2024 kids visiting. Guys, it's just not going to happen for me. Doesn't it get harder? And I don't mean this as a deterrent to subscribing to Warchant or to monitoring recruiting, but given the current climate of recruiting, doesn't it get in what's available and what's possible and what we just saw happen? Doesn't it get more and more difficult to get interested in anybody beyond kids that are going to be committing this season or next week? And you know what I mean? Like, unless it's the actual day where it matters, it is awfully difficult knowing that you can have a kid for 2 years who's all in, whose Twitter avatar is a picture of him in your uniform with the celebrated champions of your program as the backdrop and a, follow-up certainty week in, week out interview in which he says he's coming here only to see last-second trickeration, NIL, movement, whatever it might be, somebody swooping in, making an offer that you cannot refuse. It just makes it that much more difficult. So I read about Danny O'Neal, class of 2024, and I go, hey, good, had a great visit, loved the campus, enjoyed talking with the coaches, got to see the rest of the campus, saw what a great place it would be to live, got to see the stadium, man, that was awesome, got to be around Coach Tokarz. What a great experience. I really loved it. Great. Good. Yeah, apparently we loved your film and we like you too. That's nice. It's great. Sure, everybody will say everything that they need to say to make everybody feel very good about all of that over the course of the next 2 years. But no, you can't go, I'm going to go to bed tonight thinking Danny O'Neal's coming. Yeah, he's going to be here. He's going to be starting for us. Can't wait. Nobody's doing that anymore. Not in the world of recruiting. They're not. The insight's interesting. The kid, you learn a little something. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
When you are approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group are here to help you preserve your retirement. The team at Preservation Financial Group can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create a comprehensive income plan designed around your needs. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risk before you retire. To schedule a free, no-obligation consultation, reach out to Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group today. 850-523-6118. That's 850-523-6118. Or visit them online at preservationfinancialgroup.com.
If you know me, you know how I feel about supporting local. You also know that I love dad jokes. So it really bugs me when somebody I know calls anyone other than Paul's Termite and Pest Control. This year marks 50 years that Paul's has been servicing our community as a family-owned business. That really means something. All treatment decisions are made right here, not some corporate headquarters 100 miles away, but right here. Local knowledge means they know exactly when and how to beat certain issues that are unique to our region. All decisions about North Florida made by North Floridians, and being local doesn't always mean small. Paul's is the largest locally owned termite, pest, and lawn company in the region, but you'll always get the small town treatment and quick service also. Paul's offers a same-day treatment guarantee if you call by noon. If you see something in the morning that's not supposed to be in your house, call Paul's and they'll get them all that same afternoon. It's that easy. For the elimination of termites or any other pests, and for a greener lawn too, visit callpauls.com.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk radio show. Tune in every Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where I provide clear answers to all your questions about Medicare.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com.
Tom and I did last week. We said which teams could win the Super Bowl. And somebody laughed at me, and I said, well, the Steelers can't win the Super Bowl. They're eliminated. New England, I said, cannot win the Super Bowl. They're eliminated. And then we went through the list of teams that we said they couldn't win it. Now, there are plenty of teams that could, but I said the Raiders could not win the Super Bowl. Those three were pretty much can't wins. So the Eagles could not win the Super Bowl. Couldn't win the Super Bowl. They're gone. That was easy. Knew those teams couldn't win the Super Bowl. And then we went through and kind of talked about, why we thought these other teams could win the Super Bowl. And I think the only team that some of you pushed back on me about when I said that, hey, look, I don't feel like the Titans could win the Super Bowl. And people got upset with that. And I understand why. But the teams that we were emboldened by and that we thought really had a chance, Green Bay, the Bucks, the Rams, and the NFC. I said the 49ers could win the Super Bowl. I'm not so sure I'm right about that. They're all beat up right now, and Jimmy G is just a liability. Now, in the AFC, Kansas City obviously can win the Super Bowl. Buffalo can obviously win the Super Bowl. It gets interesting, doesn't it? Like when you look at those matchups and you're just staring at it, you think Cincinnati could win the Super Bowl? I do. I think they could. I won't pick them. I don't love that defense.
I hope so. I'm rooting for them.
Well, they're an easy team to root for. They're an easy team to root for. They're a lot of fun. They're electrifying. They can be, they're brash. There's a lot of things to like about them. But you're going to root for them, as am I, on the road at Tennessee. That should be a fun game. I don't think Arizona can win the Super Bowl. So, I guess I'm not answering your question. But I would tell you that I like Green Bay coming out of the NFC. And I would, just bet on the number one seed. It's not a reach. I think I think Green Bay will go to the Super Bowl. I do. I don't think my Bucks are going to beat them. They could, but I don't think they will. I wouldn't pick them. They're not the odds-on favorite. I think it's a reach. They would have to, and this is their chance to do it. And they're going to have to do this in the game this weekend, whether it's against Arizona or the Rams. They're going to have to possess the football. They're going to have to be able to run the football. They need Ronald Jones back. They need Leonard Fournette back. They need to be able to find that balance because teams are like, let's say it's Ramsey and the Rams. They're going to take away Evans. And because Godwin went down and because Antonio Brown got kicked off the team, you think about what you're lacking in terms of a number two. You don't have a bona fide number two. You're relying on Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson. That ain't good. Gronk helps you in the middle of the field. Evans is a big-time matchup, but you better have the balance of running backs back, and you better have an offensive line that's healthy.
Just going through all those injuries.
Oh, it's crazy. And just look, they've been beat down for 8 weeks.
Just given the landscape of the NFC right now, it would be an epic collapse, I think, if Green Bay didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. They are overwhelming favorites because everybody's going to have to go through Lambeau with fans in 2-degree weather. And in addition, Aaron Rodgers is pretty damn good. They've got weapons. They're really good. And I can't imagine that they're not the hungriest team in football. I get it. Every team's hungry. Everybody wants to win. It's a life-changing experience. Nobody's half-stepping their way through the playoffs. Everybody's going to be fired up to play. I got it. But if you think that this is Aaron Rodgers' swan song in Green Bay and the bitterness that they feel from having lost at home to the world champion Buccaneers currently with a chance to go to the Super Bowl a year ago, locked in, laser-like focus, but more importantly, healthy. They got guys back while the Bucs were losing people. So that's a toughie. That's a toughie. Although, when you watch a guy throw 5 touchdown passes like Patrick Mahomes did in that game, and again, it was Pittsburgh. But that is they look like they're right. The matchup, Buffalo, Kansas City is a mini Super Bowl. That's the game we all want to see, right? You don't even have to like, or you could love both teams wherever you're at. I just, as a football fan, seeing the Bills play the way they did, the way Josh Allen played in that game, and then knowing what Kansas City's been week to week, especially since they figured out their offensive problems, it's ridiculous. It's a beautiful thing. Hour number 2, fourth coming. Stay with.
Local on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. A dangerous winter storm bringing significant snowfall, strong thunderstorms, and blustery winds to the northeastern U.S. on a holiday Monday. A foot or more of snow fell in parts of New York State, Ohio, and Pennsylvania Sunday night through Monday morning. Tens of thousands of customers in the region without power. Forecasters in Buffalo say the snow was falling fast, dumping almost 17 inches by 10 o'clock this morning. The city advised people not to travel if they didn't have to on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Some surrounding towns instituted a travel ban. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, testing positive for COVID-19 on Sunday, and he is isolating. More from Bernie Bennett.
Colonel Dave Butler, spokesperson for the Joint Staff, said in a statement that Milley is experiencing, quote, very minor symptoms and can perform his duties remotely. Butler said Milley is fully vaccinated against the coronavirus and has received a booster vaccine dose. All other Joint Chiefs of Staff, except for one, tested negative for COVID-19. Officials have not said who that one was. Milley's the second Pentagon official to test positive for COVID-19 this month. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced on January 2nd he tested positive. He also experienced mild symptoms and worked remotely. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Also at townhall.com, more bad news for President Biden, the latest CBS YouGov poll. Bob Agnew with that story.
On the whole, Americans feel worse today about the economy and the pandemic than they did when the president took office. 62% disapprove of President Biden's handling of the economy. 70% disapprove of the way he's dealt with inflation. 50% of respondents describe themselves as frustrated. 49% disappointed. A paltry 26% say things are going well under the president's watch. And at the one-year mark, his overall approval rating is at 44%. Bob Agnew reporting.
More at townhall.com.
Your pets have the same energy they used to? Do they have problems with itching, scratching, a dull coat, or goopy ears? Then your pets need Dinovite.
DINOVITE.com.
For over 20 years, pet owners have trusted Dinovite to supplement their pet's diet.
We started Dinovite, and in our first box, we noticed a difference.
Dinovite is an all-natural daily supplement made from whole foods that help support your pet's immune system, digestion, skin, and coat.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
Today's commercial pet foods are processed at high temperatures, which bakes out all the essential goodness. These processed foods can lack the essential vitamins, enzymes, and probiotics that contribute to overall good health. Adding a scoop of Dinovite to your pet's food bowl is the answer.
If you love your pets as much as I do, you'll want to do what's best for them to live long, healthy, happy lives.
I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. All 4 of them are on the Dinovite.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
Every great construction project, whether it's a new addition or renovation, starts with a plan. At T-Spark, we are excited when our clients contact us to assist with that plan. Through our team of architects, draftsmen, engineers, we can help you with your project's planning and design, potentially saving costs in the long run. Whether you have a residential or commercial project, we look forward to working with you. Call us today or visit us at tsparkconstruction.com. License number CGC 1525336.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city.
Good weekend. It's a good weekend. I was ready to get back after it today. I was excited today. It all began with Florida State getting the win over the weekend in basketball. I want to start there because, Now, you think about the first go-around against Syracuse, a game that Florida State lost, and it was the second half in that game here at the TLC Double C that saw Florida State just not make critical plays when the game was on the line. And they went through a long drought, and you saw Syracuse storm back, and it just left a bad taste in your mouth. And at that time, if you think back to that result and where Florida State sat, you really had grown very concerned about what is or what is not possible for this basketball team. Now, we put our faith largely in a coaching staff that has proven time and again that they'll get the most out of what they have, and that they'll get to the, I mean, to me, they figure out what guys can and cannot do and then put them in positions to succeed. But in certain cases, if you're lacking personnel or you're lacking a player of the stature that is Malik Osborne for this game, then you really wonder about what's possible. So you're having to find a way to win on the road, and you're going to have to do it without a senior sitter. He's your second leading scorer. I'm speaking of Malik Osborne. He's out. He's got the walking boot. He has the sprained ankle. And so your best player in the front court is gone, and you're just hoping, really, as we build towards halftime, the way I looked at it is keep it close. Keep the game close, and, you're tied, first 5 minutes of the game. Then Syracuse goes on the big run. I think it was 11-2. Next thing you know, you're down 20-11, and you're really pretty concerned. You had the Matthew Cleveland dunk, but you missed 2 other shots. You committed 2 turnovers. But then you get the response. Naheem McLeod has a layup. Cameron Fletcher hits a tray. Next thing you know, it's 20-16, 8 minutes left in the half. You're like, there we go. But again, it's 10 points, 28-18 with 5 minutes left. And you're falling into the trap, standing out on the perimeter, passing the ball around rather than attacking in the paint. I asked the question last week, would we be able to attack in the paint? And would we learn the lessons of the previous matchup? But you crack the 2-3 zone. You score on 7 of your final 9 possessions of the half. You have 3-pointers from Polite, Wilkes, Mills. Heads up, a compliment to Wyatt Wilkes. That's why you're there, my man. Catch and shoot. And the next thing you know, we're only down 37-36. And that comeback is really led by a great decision from the coaching staff. And that is to go to Harrison Prado, which you would never guess is the answer. You would never say, how about we go to Harrison Prado and see if we can't get back in this thing? Like a strange thing to utter aloud. Why don't we go into the reserve walk-on bank and see if we can't help out here? But they knew what he had. They knew they knew the skill set, right? He moves better defensively, so you don't get hurt on that end of the floor. And he sets up shop with the ACC logo. No other player in our sets had been doing that. He got a layup at 4:25 left, set a high ball screen a couple different times, and that meant that other players were available for kick out as he got the entry pass. And the next thing you knew, between that and playing good defense, moving better laterally, quicker than what we had with our 7-footers, Florida State kind of figured it out, right? Even they sent Prado to the bench. But guys saw, that's what it is. That's how we have to set up our offense. Get to that ACC logo. And somebody was in the middle of that Syracuse zone the rest of the game. So the second half, you come out, you've got some momentum there. It's 39-38. Good on you, Raekwon Evans. This is back-to-back quality games. It is amazing what confidence can do. You watch a guy who at points in his career showed that he was a plus player, and at other points in his career, long stretches of his career, where he's not. He's a negative player. It's killing you. And you begin to lose hope because you suspect that guy's lacking confidence. And if you don't have that, you don't have much. But then a big game at home with those free throws against Miami, and now maybe that's the catalyst because he goes on the road and he has a very, very good game. A couple of big moments, had 3-point play with in the second half that was huge. And the next thing you know, Florida State's put themselves in a position to win a road game, and they do. And it's you think about the winning plays at the end of this game. I documented it the last time when I talked about the seniors taking over in big moments. You know, Syracuse cuts this to a 1-point game. Wyatt Wilkes knocks down a clutch corner tray. That puts us up 72-68, 2:30 to play. I jotted this down in my notes. It's 72-71 with a minute left to play. We were out of position, oddly, in that key possession. That was strange. They had the shot clock violation there. There was just a lot of weirdness. I didn't think all of a sudden it looked like we were doing the opposite of what we did at the Miami game. It looked like we kind of had lost composure there. But Jimmy Boeheim left his shot short. Raekwon grabs that board. They don't foul right away. He gets it out to Polite, who finds Cleveland. That's a dunk, 74-71. Syracuse turns it over. Evans intercepts the pass. Fouled, converts the free throws. Suck at Syracuse. Rolling on Big River, baby. Final stats, Florida State shoots 54, almost 55% from the field, 12 of 20 from three. Ooh, cool 60%. 8 of 13 from free throws, 21 assists to only 10 turnovers, gang. Syracuse, meanwhile, again, we're starting to commit to the defensive end. They were 7 of 17 from beyond the arc, 47% from the field. FSU's three-point shooting, really the game. 68 points on field goals versus just 55 points for the Orange on field goals, combined with 12 Q's turnovers. Get you some. That's a 22-12 advantage in points off turnovers. We're committed on the defensive end. Again, 17-4 domination, fast break points. Even though we get out-rebounded here, we're going to get out-rebounded a lot. We did have an 8-6 edge in second chance points, 32-28 margin of points in the paint, and with FSU using 11 players, all played at least 10 minutes. 7 for the Orange. I thought they got worn down. We dominated bench points, 29-4. That's the old way of Florida State winning games. Caleb Mills bounces back from that poor showing against Miami. This time around, 19 points, 6 of 9. Career best, 5 of 6 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block shot in 32 minutes. Have yourself a day, Caleb. Raekwon Evans, again, second straight double-figure game. Season high, 15 points, 5 of 9, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc, 3 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals. There you go, Raekwon. Still not getting a ton out of Anthony Polite from a shooting standpoint. He did go 1-1 from 3, though, and did get, again, on the board, 7 boards. John Butler did not do much of anything in this game. Wyatt Wilkes, a factor here. I've been critical of you, Wyatt. Got to praise you when it's right. 11 points off the bench, 4 of 8 from the floor, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. Also, 3 assists in this game. So there you go, Wyatt. Matthew Cleveland, efficient always, 4 of 5 from the field, had 3 thunderous dunks. Did miss a bunch of free throws. Well, I say a bunch, was 1 of 4. Got to do better than that. But again, and then very quietly, sort of the guy of the game, Harrison Prado, 4 points, but unlocking the key off the bench, playing center for the final 9 minutes of the game, setting up shot on that ACC logo. Beautiful, beautiful thing. So we got Duke tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, TLC Double C. It'll be on ESPN if you're not going to be out late and head over to the game. Hopefully this thing, certainly this thing is a sellout. That is a late start. What are we doing? I don't think at 20 I would have complained about that, but I do now. 9 o'clock. Come on, man. Duke beat NC State. North Carolina beat Georgia Tech. Wake rallied to upset Virginia, by the way, at the JPJ. Virginia Tech rallied from 10 points down to pick up its first ACC win over Notre Dame. Good to see. Louisville has become completely listless. They get stomped by Pitt. Boston College beats Clemson at the Little John. Miami had a bye week, and that means the updated standings read Miami in first, Duke and Carolina, half game back, same number of losses in the loss column, 1 short win in the win column. Florida State is 1 game back of first place, sit right now tied with Notre Dame for 4th place. It's a beautiful thing. And so with those losses and Florida State's recent run of success, we can now reinvest in the belief that the choo-choo is making an appearance, and screw the ding-ding. There it is. Talk NFL, football, and the like in a bit. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
Hi, I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. And as an agent with Florida Farm Bureau, I'm continuing that promise. Farm Bureau Insurance has been protecting what matters most for over 75 years. Your home, your auto, your family, your life. Who's protecting you? Give me a call, 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. At Florida Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service, right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Just ask your doctor. The vaccines are our best defense against COVID. If you're 12 or older and you've already gotten yours, now you can give yourself a boost with a COVID booster. It makes the protection you already have even stronger. We can do this. Find boosters near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Hey, Jim! Thanks for coming.
Are you kidding? I never miss one of your dinner parties. How's the new job?
We're growing fast, and I stopped working weekends, thanks to how much smoother everything runs on NetSuite by Oracle.
Fantastic. We're still using QuickBooks.
Why haven't you upgraded to NetSuite?
We're making QuickBooks work, sort of.
Shh, watch your language. The kids are right there. Sorry, Amy. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. And 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since upgrading from QuickBooks to NetSuite.
Yeah, sounds like it's time for me to switch to NetSuite. Over 27,000 businesses already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/advantage. Head to netsuite.com/advantage for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/advantage.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.
To 5. on Florida State football, which is that I see you, Sage. You would like to see JT Daniels here. I actually, on the subject of a transfer portal guy at quarterback, I've been strongly in favor of it. I want to see. It's not to say the way I once believed that you'd bring somebody in and they'd win that job right away. And I think I do think that for the purposes of, I guess you would say team chemistry, you want to be careful just who you bring in, but I am in favor of it. And I think largely without getting into the debate of what Jordan Travis is as a passer, what Jordan Travis is as he gets better and better at the position, I think the reason that you would all agree, and this is where when we were arguing about it, because I think within the fan base, it's interesting. You have people who are like, no, I'm good. Jordan Travis is a starter and he's getting better. And I feel like he'll take another step forward. And, we don't necessarily need to bring anybody in to compete with him, that kind of a thing. Well, fine, but you'd still want to bring somebody in to back him up because durability is a question with him. And we do know that, and that's unfortunate, but we do know that if he goes down and has to miss time for any reason, and I'm not even talking about like an elbow injury, which we've seen, or a shoulder injury, which we've seen, but he's missed time for a variety of ailments. So if that's always going to be the case, or if it's been the case up until now, even if you're not going to assume those things, you want to have a viable backup so that if he is out, you're not automatically going to lose the game. And for Florida State, the bottom line is when he's gone down, when he hasn't been healthy, you pretty much have no chance to win the game. You go back to that Florida game, the time he missed there was critical. So I would just say that, honestly, I would always err on the side of having a guy who's going to push my starting quarterback and maybe even win the job. I'm all right with it. I think competition brings out the best in people. And if my guy's not confident enough to be able to hold down the job and gets upset about somebody coming in, then so be it. I would definitely bring somebody in without question. But I don't know. Again, I wouldn't just bring anybody in. It would have to be the right fit. You're constantly looking for guys that are going to be the right fit. Where Florida State has succeeded in the transfer portal is not only in upgrading their depth and upgrading their talent at key positions of need, but also getting guys who largely have come in, not all, but have largely come in and done what was asked of them, and handled those roles well, that have not been guys that, upset the apple cart. It's a weird balance because you don't ultimately want to build solely through the transfer portal, but certainly you can utilize it to bolster whatever weaknesses you have, and it can carry you over to you are able, to a place where you're able to build people up. Think about what they've done with the offensive line. Think about what they're bringing in with that offensive line. You've got to get to a place where you have enough guys on the roster at the position that A, can play. That's always for starters, but B, allow for the better recruits that you bring in out of high school at that position, especially anywhere in the trenches, whether you're talking about a defensive lineman, an offensive lineman, any of the guys in the trenches who aren't, unless they're just freaks, right? You need to give them time for their body to mature, to get into this weightlifting program, to get into this nutrition program, to build up the requisite strength to be able to handle the beating that those in the trenches take. And I feel like for Florida State, it's been a revolving door of guys who have, in some cases, the ability to play, but are asked to do so way too soon. Then the injuries mount. And where that really affects you is not just because you're lacking the depth of talent needed to compete, but because then those injuries occur and the offseason is now ruined for a kid who could have used that time to put on the requisite strength and size. And that's really hurt them time and again. So if you can continue to bring in transfer portal guys at that position, sit other guys, allow them to get stronger. I think about guys that late in the year looked like they were overmatched. And if you look at, let's say, their bend, their overall ability, their foot quickness, all of those things, technique, there are some guys on that line that you go, they're equipped to play big-time college football. They're equipped to be able to handle what Florida State is asking them to do, but they weren't physically capable of handling the season at this stage of their career. And there's no shame in that. That is true. When you see the big-time programs, the Georgias and the Alabamas and others that are really dominating, they win the trenches, true, and they have elite athleticism and depth of five-star and all those things, and we're all wowed by that, and recruiting does solve a lot of those problems. But what they also have is primarily upperclassmen playing on the offensive line, guys that were given the opportunity to get big, to get strong, to have a chance to succeed against the best teams that they'll face. JT Daniels has entered the portal. Would you want him? I don't really even, beset by injury. Beset by injury seemingly is the constant. So I don't know.
We don't really need more of that.
Injury prone is not what I want to lead with. There's a benefit to replacing your roof at the same time that you have solar panels installed. There are opportunities for tax credits specifically. In addition, you definitely want to make sure your roof can handle the weight of solar panels and that your roof will not need to be repaired or replaced. If you're thinking about solar panels, don't forget to think about the condition of your roof before you sign a solar panel contract. You don't want to call T-Spark Enterprises, come out, inspect your roof. The last thing you want to do is have to pay an additional $10,000 plus to remove your newly installed panels to have a new roof put in. T-Spark Roofing and Construction. Give my man a call. Best in the business, best standards. He'll thank me for it. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Irashafel, Warchant.com. Joins us next.
Local news now.
A Thomas County man accused of shooting two deputies was caught by law enforcement Sunday afternoon. On the sixth day of the manhunt, law enforcement brought Tyler Henderson into custody. Henderson's family reportedly contacted the task force and notified TCSO Henderson would turn himself in. He did so around 2:30 p.m. and handed over a gun as well. The search had been ongoing since early Tuesday morning when 3 law enforcement deputies tried to arrest Henderson for violating his parole. Henderson got hold of one of the deputies' guns and shot 2 of them. One is in the hospital in stable condition. The other is back at work. The Tallahassee Police Department says it responded to a shooting at the Springfield Apartments on Joe Louis Street. The victim and suspect got into an argument, and that's when the suspect pulled out a gun and shot the victim. The victim was later taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No arrests have been made in this case. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 56. Northwest winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet again tonight. Lows dip down to about 32. Clear skies and quiet tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 58. Mid-60s Wednesday and Thursday with a chance for scattered rain showers Thursday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 57.
Our friends at ISF want to wish you a very happy new year. Listen, you want to do amazing things. You have big visions and goals for the future, and you work hard to move your agency forward while navigating the unique challenges inherent in government operations. ISF understands. They're a national management and IT consulting firm serving clients across the country. As we turn the page to another year, ISF reminds you to think big and stay focused on your goals for the future. ISF, your vision, our expertise, solving the future. Visit ISF.com to learn more. If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
It's Congressman Michael Waltz on the Greg Tish Show.
Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Again, just what you have to go through day in and day out. I don't know how you have hair left, or like Matty Rowe, just completely bald.
Hey!
Sorry.
And the irony of it all, the progressives are the tail wagging the dog. This whole bipartisan White House is a joke. We're just watching them eat their own.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Rashfeld of Warchant.com, who I know is equally as excited as I am about the win over the weekend. And perhaps what sets up to be it does set up to be a fun night, interesting night. Matchup's tough against Duke. Ira Feld joins us now, Warchant.com. Hello, Ira.
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I was really pleased with what Florida State did on the road against Syracuse, getting a win, a revenge win at that. But I don't know that you or me or Corey or anybody on the Warchant staff would have said, the key to that game is Harrison Prado. But it turned out to be, in a lot of ways, obviously I'm not going to ignore Caleb Mills lighting it up from three and really seeing, Raekwon Evans step up for the second straight game. So happy for that kid. Wyatt Wilkes emerges and hits some big threes in this game as well. A lot of other guys I don't want to ignore, but Prado setting up shot on the ACC logo and kind of getting inside that zone created the blueprint, and it was good to see.
Yeah, he came in, kind of late in the first half, and you really could kind of feel it the first trip down the court. He knows where to be. He's obviously been in that system for 6 years, could basically coach it. And, so where he lacks, he doesn't have the height of a post player in the ACC. He doesn't have probably the athletic ability of a post player in the ACC, but he does know where to go, and he's a good enough passer. And did a good job of kind of moving them around, getting Syracuse's zone to get moved around. And I thought, really, that was the other key to the game, from my perspective was, a couple weeks ago when FSU was really struggling, there were, the annual calls for Leonard Hamilton to shorten the bench. And he is, obviously did not do that because he never does that. And I really felt like in these last few games, their depth has really been important. And I think it was again in this game where they really made Syracuse work. I mean, part of the reason Jim Boeheim can get away with playing 7 guys is because they don't expend a ton of energy on defense in that zone, and then they don't necessarily push it on offense. But by working them defensively, by moving the ball around, by having Harrison in the middle and forcing them to kind of collapse and then kick back out and really work them defensively, I thought Florida State kind of started to wear them down. So I thought. To your point also, some of these guys that haven't been playing well started playing well. And now, when you bring in a new rotation of 3 or 4 guys and their same 5 are out there every minute, and you're bringing in flights of players, I think it really takes its toll. And you're reminded of that when they start playing well, of how big of a toll that is on another team.
Yeah, I want to reiterate something because there was unless you're blind, you couldn't help but note that for much of at least the start of the season and really going on into last year, it felt like Raekwon Evans had lost all confidence and just wasn't a player that we once thought he could be. I mean, he had shown real signs a couple years ago of being a good player, but it had been absent for a long time. And we all understand a lot of stuff has happened off the field, off the court. But this is his second straight double-figure game. And he had 15 points, 5 of 9 from the field. He was 2 of 4 from 3. 3 for 3 on the free throw line, had 3 boards, had 5 assists, had 2 steals. His 30 minutes of action, he was outstanding. If he's going to play with confidence, and I know that you're going to get the up and down affair with Caleb Mills, but we know he's capable any given night of lighting it up. And we know Matthew Cleveland's a plus player and is only going to get better as the year goes on, one would think. Florida State now has some options they're going to be lacking, and they did all of this without Malik Osborne. So you don't have your best front court player. This was a big win for them. I don't know if it's big enough for them to emerge and get the upset win tomorrow night, but they're certainly going to enter this game against Duke with a lot of guys playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, without question. And I, really the thing with Raekwon to me is if he plays, within himself, and I really think that's the case for a lot of these guys. Anthony Polite's another one that we've seen. Those 2 guys in particular have a tendency to try to do too much sometimes. Raekwon, he has the ability to get close to the basket, make some tough shots, but there were times where I felt like he forced that and ended up getting a shot block, and now you got to run out the other way. And you're seeing him being a little bit more selective about doing that. And then with Anthony Polite, look at the stats for him when they were losing, and then look at the last few games when they've turned things around. And he's rebounding a lot more.
He's rebounding a ton.
Oh my gosh! I mean, the last 3 games, I think he's at 8, 8, and 7 rebounds for a wing. And in early this season, he had some rebounds, but there was a stretch of about 7, 8 I'm not sure, maybe even 10 games in the middle there where he wasn't rebounding anymore. He was just shooting and looking to be an offensive player, not doing all the dirty work things that he needs to do. So, again, we've seen this happen so many times, and we started to wonder if it was going to happen with this team. And obviously tomorrow is a huge, huge challenge against the number 6 team in the country, maybe the most talented, one of the most talented teams in the country. But, they're playing now the way they're playing. Guys are playing within themselves. Guys are playing to their strength. And, I think the results are what we've seen on the court.
I don't know that we have an answer in the middle for this game tomorrow night. I'm fairly certain this is going to be a problem unless we just shoot the lights out. You want to put a percentage chance Florida State beats Duke tomorrow night at the TLC CCC, Ira?
Because of how well they play at home, because of that crowd, and because Duke does have some young players who haven't really probably played in too many great environments like this, although they certainly played in front of a lot of people in high school. They're elite players, but I don't know, man, 30%,
okay,
5%.
I was just trying to get a feel. Where your head was at. Okay.
I think they got a puncher's chance. I just, as you said, that not having Malik Osborne's a big deal. Leonard, we talked to him this morning, and he said they would get a final answer today, but he was very doubtful that Malik would be able to play. And for the course of the season, I kind of like that they did this and kind of shut him down for a little bit because he wasn't himself those last few games.
Not at all.
They were starting to play a little bit better. You could just see he couldn't defend the way he wanted to. He just wasn't. He just didn't have anything in that ankle. And so by shutting him down, you still got the win against Syracuse. Maybe he can come back in time for the Miami game, or maybe a game later. But you'd much rather have him for all of February feeling great than to kind of keep this lingering for weeks.
It's amazing how quickly things can turn around, and it's a credit again to the coaching staff. Ira, I mean, you and I, we talk on and off the air, and we're realists, and we cover this team, and we look at areas of strength, and we certainly know the way this coaching staff operates and what are their strengths, and also some areas where, you have concerns. Every coaching staff has that. I'm not so sure that we thought we'd be having this conversation where right now, for now, they've staved off what I like to call the ding ding, and right now they're looking like a team. Well, first of all, they're in the top 4 of the ACC.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here not only staving off the NIT, and maybe that's where they end up, maybe not. I don't know. But they've injected life and belief again into a fan base that has really embraced Florida State basketball, rightfully so, over the last 5 or 6 years, and have got those people believing again that this team's capable of making the postseason again and making, some sort of fun run late in the year with a lot on the line. And that's a credit to them because they really look to be a lot of sort of forlorn and confused faces just about 4 games ago.
Well, I mean, when you looked at the schedule ahead, you just got blown out by Wake Forest,
right?
Who is not very good. And then you look at the schedule ahead and you say, okay, you got Louisville and Miami, who are both playing really well at the time. Now Louisville's gone into a spin.
They've fallen off the cliff, yeah.
But Miami's been playing well. And then you're going to have a road trip to Syracuse, which is always hard just because of, that arena and the way they play. And then you had Duke coming in, top 10 team. And then you had another trip to Miami. And it just felt like, where are the wins going to come from?
Right.
But then they go out and they win those 3 games. And now you feel like you've got a pretty good chance against Miami, or you feel like you got a pretty good chance against Miami on the road if you keep playing the way you've been playing. And then Duke, obviously you have to have just a tremendous performance to beat that team, but it's not like they're unbeatable. They lost to Miami at home. They are playing better now. So, but yeah, I mean, I think to me, that's the biggest thing is that, it's given us all, it's kind of reminded us all of what they could do, but it also, where you touched on earlier, it's got to kind of reinvigorate some of those players. I mean, they were, some of the players, we always talk about how great the culture is for FSU basketball, and it is really good. It's a great program. But even in the last few games, the players have talked about getting more buy-in from the younger players. And it's not as if they were reluctant to buy in, but it just gives them some validation that what I'm being told to do is going to work. And I need to follow that and not deviate in freelance. And I'm guessing we were probably seeing some of that in those games before that. So it's a big deal, man. They're all on the same page. They seem to be, coming together, and maybe they can make a run and not just make it to a tournament, but again, maybe even a decent seed.
It's always matchups and things like that. They also gave themselves some wiggle room. Always appreciate it, brother. Be well.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
Yep. If you think about, by the way, it's irishfl.warchant.com. If you think about what we're talking about here, the 3 straight wins over Louisville, Miami, after getting blown out by Wake Forest, 76-54. The 3 straight wins, 79-70 over Louisville, 65-64 in that electrifying game against Miami at the TLC-CCC last week. And then at Syracuse, 76-71. You're in a position to withstand potential losses. I'm not going to assume anything here, but that is a really good Duke team that presents a real matchup problem for us tomorrow. And then you're on the road against Miami, who is in first place in the ACC. Their lone loss coming to you. You know they're going to want to avenge that. Let's just say, for argument's sake, it plays out according to the odds. And the odds makers will have Duke and Miami both, I think, significant favorites over Florida State. I say significant, especially if you consider we're playing here where we've been so good. To have Duke favored tells you just how good that team is. But let's say you are to lose those games. You turn right around after that by giving yourself the kind of wiggle room that we alluded to. You're at Georgia Tech, who you're better than. You don't assume wins in the ACC, but you've got a real good chance to win the game. Then you're hosting Virginia Tech, and then you're at Clemson, who's just been terrible. And I know it's there, but they just got done losing at home again. So if by chance you follow these 2 matchups and you get to 500 in the ACC, you get to late January, those are 3 imminently winnable games and a revenge match against Wake Forest after that at home. You could very well be in a very nice position as we get into mid-February when you got to go on the road against North Carolina and on the road at Duke. You could have the requisite grace within the schedule that gives you an opportunity to withstand some losses and still make the NCAA tournaments. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, and Warchant TV.
Get an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out.
I'm almost at $10,000 in 4 years. I've never traveled anywhere.
They made this sound that this would be a really good deal, that I could go anywhere, anytime I wanted to. That never worked out.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares. I know all the tricks because I'm embarrassed to say I once worked in the timeshare industry. We've saved suffering timeshare owners millions in debt and maintenance fees. When you're approved as a client, I guarantee you a 100% success rate. We'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently.
I honestly would recommend that you call Wesley Financial. They will help you.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free information kit. If they can't get you out of your timeshare, you'll pay nothing. Call 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595. That's 800-600-9595.
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Clean, renewable energy means fresher air, healthier residents, new green jobs, and a stronger, more resilient community. How we get there is up to you. Share your input today to help shape the Tallahassee of tomorrow. Take the Clean Energy Survey at talgov.com.
For about 50 years, Paul's Termite and Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses for thousands of people right here in the Big Bend. And we're quite proud of that. Fact is, all of us here at Paul's have families, and nothing is more important to us than their protection. By providing effective termite and pest treatments, we know we're aiding many right here in our community.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control performs many services designed for the protection of your family and your home. Programs like Pro Shield Complete, which encompasses termite and general pest control in one low-cost quarterly treatment plan. This program is environmentally friendly and is almost exclusively limited to exterior treatments, meaning pests and termites never enter your home. Termite programs like Centricon, a service which requires no invasive drilling or liquid applications. Plus, our lawn care team keeps lawns and ornamentals green and healthy.
Protection of your family, your home, and our environment all are very important to each of us at Paul's. To learn more about our many programs, please visit us at callpauls.com.
For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Live and living color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of thewarchant.com.
you have money sitting around doing nothing, that ain't good. You probably have it in CDs or savings accounts because you want it safe. You want to have access to it, but how much is that costing your beneficiaries? Unfortunately, millions of people die each year with money that sat around and did nothing for the spouses and children it left behind. What if you could take that lazy money and put it into action by providing your beneficiaries with a significant increase in the death benefit value of your money? And in some cases, what if you could do that while getting some long-term care benefits for yourself and a money-back guarantee? That's right. A death benefit, long-term care benefits, and access to your money at any time. For more information and your legacy enhancement kit, just call my friend Pete Tyson at 850-523-6118. That number again is 850-523-6118. Preservation Financial Group will be there to help out. Quote, I initially reached out to Coach Sweeney to honestly see if he had any GA spots available, said Hunter Johnson, former five-star recruit that initially committed to Clemson back where he signed in 2017. Then he went to Northwestern. Now he's back at Clemson. This despite the adamant insistence from one Dabo Sweeney that he just wouldn't do it. We don't bring in transfer portals. It's beneath us until it's not. Until we're not getting what we want at the quarterback position, and then it's not beneath you at all. Yeah, not surprisingly, going back to the start of this show, I do see now where there is consideration that you're going to make a move in Dallas. Yes. Death's door, 80, and a disappointing first-round exit means things get sped up, and Jerry doesn't have time for that. I'm not one to, on a Monday, necessarily talk golf, but I will on a holiday Monday, because did you see Matsuyama's shot from 270 yards away in the playoff? Doing some things. 277. I've watched that shot several times over, understanding that's never going to be in my bag, but it was in his, and that's on a fade with it all on the line. And it was insane, not to mention that he led the field in putting for the first time in his career. If he's going to putt it, he's going to win, and he's going to win a lot because he's sensational in most every other area. My golf fantasy picks turned out well since Matsuyama was one of them. But I also had Corey Connors, who I felt very good about going into that tournament, and I'm just happy that we're at a place where these things are going to be weekly, and we get to get excited again by, horses for courses and guys that emerge and all that stuff. That was a thrilling playoff win. It's good to have it in the midst of all of this. You have college basketball. You've got the NHL. We're getting to a place in the NBA where you have a better sense of what's what. NFL playoffs to boot. Man, throw in the PGA Tour. There's never a dull moment. There's rarely a dull moment.
You had the Irishman too, right?
Yeah, Seamus Power.
Power, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I had a banner weekend. There was had a lot of guys that I felt very good. I'll tell you what, if I'm really going to brag, I also had Lee, L.I. I had him as well. I took a flyer on him. Never heard of him in my life. Took him because I read an article about his play coming into the tournament. Not going to lie about that, and how as a ball striker, the play set up well for him, and that in the you go, it's just like anything else. It's just like when you're picking prize picks or whatever. You're looking at guys, courses set up for them, matchups set up for them, whatever it might be. But you also are looking at guys where when you get down to that low salary range, where like if you're going to spend $10,000 plus in a 50,000 six-man team, right? And you're going to spend $10,000 on Hideki Matsuyama or Russell Henley or somebody like that, then you're going to need to find a real bargain basement price on a guy that makes the cut, just makes the cut. And Lee was the guy that a lot of people thought his upside would be huge in this. He ended up finishing top 15. So, you get him, you get Corey Connors, you get Seamus Power, and then you spend a little bit on Hideki Matsuyama. You've got a nice little squad. Not enough to win the whole thing. Somebody out there winning $100,000 in the thing I was at. It just drives me nuts. One of these times, Matthew, and when it happens, brother, it'll be a big day at the office. I don't know that we'll talk about anything else.
There will be no FSU basketball talked about on that show.
No, there wouldn't be on that day. It would all be about how much money I just won. Do you trust Zach Taylor this weekend, the Bengals, to call plays like a man? Because he drives me nuts I was glad there was an article about this. For much of the year, he did not call plays that would favor a young gunslinger and a unique talent in Jamar Chase at wide receiver. What ends up happening a lot of times is it's so much of the underneath stuff, but he's done a better job of really kind of relying on Burrow to make good decisions and throwing on first and second down. And they documented that over the first half of the year. Cincinnati 20th in early down pass rate. A lot of frustrations. They were running the football all the time. And on Saturday, he reverted to his old ways. He called runs on 21 of 47 first and second downs. Those run plays lost the Bengals somewhere in the neighborhood of 4.8 expected points, and only 19% of them produced a positive EPA, according to the website rbsdm.com. Now, not wanting to get too bogged down in those numbers, we do look at a lot of these things. It's just a better way of understanding the game, or at least gleaning information that helps you better assess what is going on, patterns in play calling, decisions being made based on personnel, and anything that can add to a greater understanding of that is not a bad thing. It's just one that further illuminates. But when you do that, you put your quarterback, think back to the Bucs a year ago when they were not throwing on first down, and how Tom and I came in here on a daily basis saying they've got to start throwing the ball on first down. Why would you not trust Tom Brady on neutral downs, on downs where defenses have to honor everything in the playbook? And, we know statistically this is true of all offenses, but especially if you've got an above average quarterback, if you give them more trust in the passing game on neutral downs, they're going to be more efficient. They're going to have greater chances to succeed. And when you're costing them by putting yourself behind the chains time and again, because you run the ball on first and second down, and then third and long is inevitable, or third and even average is inevitable, that is not good. That favors a defense. But here's the deal. Burrow constantly bails Zach Taylor out, and he did in this game as well. He converted 5 of those 12 long third down attempts. That's enough to avoid a loss. It's just enough to keep things going. But Burrow has constantly bailed him out with play calling. I think this game, maybe more than even the last 2 weeks where he lit it up, probably, it's a playoff game is why. It's a playoff game with a lot on the line, and he's making throws that you have to make to win a football game. If that doesn't allow you to just turn it over to him, at this point, I'm of the place where I just turn it all over to him. I think he's proven already that I can trust him to throw on first down. Was that minutes or seconds? Because we still got to go with bets. That's what I thought. Cue it up, man. We'll get to some right now. I've got a couple that I like right here. Big Daddy's here for you.
Hey, Big Daddy, having some Red Russians tonight?
We'll know in about 47 seconds.
To an open wing. It's picked up by Dowdy, an empty net. He scores.
Hot damn. Big Daddy's done it again. Red Russians all around, Teddy.
All right, Big Daddy.
Woo! You got to jump on the lines early for divisional round stuff. Early on, you see this with the Titans as a favorite, -3.5. Okay. Going to dance around and look at it. I'll make some greater decisions or some more in-depth decisions tonight as it pertains to the National Football League. But for now, you go with fun, oftentimes sidebar player stats. A lot of the stuff that we talk about, for example, rushing yards tonight for Kyler Murray, over under 38.5. I'm going over.
Agreed.
I think for them to win, he's got to go over. So also, you want another prop bet, another fun prop bet? Cardinals, Rams, longest touchdown run, over or under 42.5 yards. Touchdown run.
Touchdown run.
It's a toughie, isn't it?
Under.
Over or under 33.5 passing attempts for Kyler Murray tonight.
Oh, over. I think he's averaging 40, 45 in the past 5 games.
They throw the hell out of the ball. And my guess is they're not going to trust themselves to line up and run it either. I agree with you. I also, an early line here that I think is fascinating, and I don't know if I would jump on this, but I may turn it into, as the week goes on, certainly, a little bit of a teaser-pleaser here. I could get the 49ers right now at +6 and turn that into a +12 and pair it with something. It's something to look at. Anyhow, tonight, you and I, we've come to the conclusion that we're going to go with the over on the running for 38.5 Kyler Murray. That's the bet tonight.
I'd play Zach Ertz over 51 too, with Hopkins out.
I like it. I like where your head's at. Good work out of you, sir. Thanks to all of you. Happy Martin Luther King Day, Jr., everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be back with you tomorrow for some of the headlines. Be good.